Yes, I do. This Frankenberry was scheduled by a third party, so I'm not going to say anything until I'm sure he's on the line, so be sure and let me know. Thank you. Okie doke. I'm still going to do a IDA update first, so thanks. Alrighty.
For more information, call Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 at 304-233-4445.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think of calling for a ride, but nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that could happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car. you kill someone. The results of driving drunk are tragic. That's why law enforcement is out there looking for impaired drivers to save lives. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
My husband Shane loved being a Columbus firefighter. When he arrived on scene and people were panicking, that's when he was at his best. But in 2019, the mental struggle became too much and Shane took his own life. Everyone needs help at some point. I encourage you to seek help if you need it by calling the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 800-273-8255. For mental health insurance benefit information, visit the Ohio Department of Insurance's website, insurance.ohio.gov, or call 800-686-1526 to speak to experts who can help.
Hello, everyone, from the Watchdog. I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster, with a look at your local weather forecast for your Monday. Under mostly cloudy skies with scattered showers, a daytime high near 82. Scattered showers likely through the overnight with temperatures falling to about 72. Only coming to about 76 for the daytime high for your Tuesday. And a mix of clouds and limited sunshine with scattered showers and thunderstorms on and off through the day. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
Celebrating the 100 days of summer, this is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
Well, the 100 days are winding down very, very, very fast. We're into the last week of our 100 days of summer. Meteorological fall officially begins on Wednesday, according to Zach Petty over at the Big 7. And this week, if it's going to be our last week of summer, is going to be officially of summer or unofficially of summer. It's going to be a rainy week today. A good, heavy, soaking rain today, showers and thunderstorms. Today, it's just being caused by a cold front. A daytime high today around 80 or so. Cool down tomorrow to about 77, but it's going to continue to rain for the next couple of days. After today, the rain we get will be the aftermath, the blowback of Hurricane Ida. How much we get will depend on exactly which way the storm goes. It's going to go through the state. That seems to be almost a guarantee, but is it going to go further to the west? That's the predicted track right now. The tropical storm Ida is going to go. It may come, originally it was going to come a little bit more to the east, which would have come closer to us. But either way, we have a flash flood watch in effect beginning through tomorrow and into Thursday because of the aftermath of Ida. So be prepared for a good bit of rain and the possibility of some flooding. Hopefully it'll go to the west of us and it won't be too bad. Zach's precipitation range right now is anywhere from 1 to 5 inches over the next few days. It just depends on how that storm goes. 70 degrees at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport, 71 here at my home studios in the Elm Grove section of Wheeling, and 70 at the Robinson Auto Group Studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. And in both cases, in all those cases, it is still a foggy morning here at the home studio. The fog is lifting a little, but it is still very foggy. It's 8:12. I mentioned Ida, which is now a tropical storm, but still causing serious trouble down in the Louisiana area.
In the wake of Hurricane Ida, communities in southeastern Louisiana are reporting severe damage. ABC's Matt Gutman is in Walker, Louisiana.
Ida making landfall at noon Sunday, exactly 16 years to the day after Hurricane Katrina made landfall. Ida already taking one life. With relentless wind gusts up to 150 miles per hour, the storm wreaking havoc, leaving more than 1 million customers without power in Louisiana and Mississippi.
Jefferson Parish President Cynthia Lee Shanks says they've lost contact with Grand Isle, where there may be up to 40 people trapped.
We were able to have radio contact with with some of our firefighters there until probably late afternoon, and then we just lost contact with them.
Louisiana State Representative Beryl Amedee represents the coastal city of Houma, where she says there are
down trees, power lines. It will probably be weeks before we get power restored.
Over 1 million customers with no power in Louisiana this morning. Dave Packer, ABC News.
We'll continue following the storm from ABC throughout the morning this morning. Where have we been and where are we going? COVID, huge story, continues to be in the upper Ohio Valley and indeed around the country. The state latest COVID numbers from Ohio County are still rising. One local school, St. Mary's in Martins Ferry, is closed for the week already because of COVID. The AFT president urges Governor Justice to impose a mask mandate, although the governor continues to say he wants to wait. Protesters against the vaccine mandate at Wheeling Hospital showed up yesterday to make their opinions known. We just had a lot of COVID conversation to get into today. Coming up next hour, the Grinch may hit many kids' Christmas this year. Major toy companies are saying that COVID created shipping problems and increases in cost. Could mean higher prices, toy delays, and even some empty shelves this holiday season. I have the details for you coming up a little bit later on. Right now, I want to talk about voting rights once again. It's an issue that has been front and center. Well, it's been front and center. It's sort of seemed on the back burner. It comes back and forth. A couple of bills pending for the People Act. We've talked about the Manchin Compromise, the bills all across the many in different states. A voting rights bill passed narrowly in the House last week heads off to the Senate. Thought we'd talk a bit about this with Ryan Frankenberry from West Virginia Working Families. Ryan, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, Howard. How are you?
Where are we on, it seems like some form of voting rights legislation has been roaming around the halls of Congress and the Senate now all year long. A couple of different proposals, a couple of different bills. Where are we with all of this?
Well, honestly, Howard, right now where we are is we're at a last chance moment for the Senate to deliver on voting rights and democracy legislation. So, it was great to see the House come back and pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act on a very narrow margin. It's clear that it's been made into a partisan issue. But we have Senator Manchin here in West Virginia, who, former Secretary of State and did a lot of good things on voting rights as Secretary of State, has been leading the effort to try to come up with a compromise bill that in past years would be the bill that everybody would be, wanting to push forward to try to make sure that everyone gets their voices heard. Not unlike the bipartisan infrastructure bill that we finally got passed last month. This is where we're headed right now. It looks like we do have an opportunity to get something passed, but we really need everyone to step up and do what's best for our country.
The bill that passed the House, and it did so without any Republican votes, is it what you would consider, is it what Senator Manchin would consider a compromise bill? If that bill comes to the Senate, can Senator Manchin support it?
Well, Senator Manchin's already on record being very in favor of the John L. Lewis Voting Rights Act. And so I would say, yes, I think that he can support that. But I also think that Senator Manchin has expressed support for many of the policy issues for the People Act, including redistricting protections, voter access to vote by mail, through public financing of some elections, and even through looking at getting rid of dark money, or at least making it so that we're aware of who's paying, like an honest ads policy, where it's easy for any West Virginian to know who's actually paying for an advertisement. So we're hopeful that Senator Manchin is leading the charge on getting his colleagues in the Senate to pass a bill that's going to protect, going to fight for all of these protections. And we're hopeful, Senator Schumer has said that this is going to be the highest priority when they get back. But the elephant in the room is the elephant in the room. Right now it's been clear that the Republicans in the Senate and the House are unwilling to do any kind of compromise. And it's a shame because when we talk to voters in West Virginia and across America, these policies are highly popular. People want to have their voices heard through the electoral process. They want to have access to the voting booth. We all experienced it last year with the way COVID, first and foremost, pushed back our own primary here in West Virginia, and our county clerk handled it brilliantly. We rolled with it and got that primary through. But also the way we sent out mail-in ballots to anyone who requested. It proved that it can be done. It's very safe, and it makes people feel like their vote is secure and they can make their vote happen while their own personal safety is in mind. So I think that these things they're hugely popular, but having Mitch McConnell come out and immediately just say no, it shows that we've got to address the problem, which is, of course, the filibuster. And I was joking with some friends over the weekend as I saw different high school football scores come in, and I kept congratulating people on their almost victories because they didn't get to 60 points. And the WVSSAC has made a new rule that you got to score 60 points or you don't win the game. And it was said in jest, but people started realizing how ridiculous that sounds. But that's exactly what we face right now in the U.S. Senate is an outdated rule that was initiated actually to hold back on civil rights legislation, and it's being used now in extreme ways, and we've got to figure out ways around it. And we think that there are ways around it that Democrats are going to support, and Senator Manchin has expressed support for at least addressing the fact that right now any legislation in the Senate can be stopped by simply having a senator send an email saying that they want a filibuster, and that's it. The bill is dead. And so, we are communicating with West Virginians and urging Senators Capito and Manchin to, allow these bills a debate on the floor. We certainly want them to support them, but our message to Senator Manchin is that if the Republicans aren't going to compromise with you, and if the Republicans aren't willing to at least have these debates on the floor, then be the leader, and you've got to go it alone. And the reality is
but
that
Senator Manchin, look, Ryan, let's be realistic about this. Senator Manchin is, let's give him the benefit of the doubt and call him the eternal optimist. He believes that he can create bipartisanship. I heard your argument, and I buy your argument. If we can't get bipartisanship on some of the things that we've already been talking about, how can we possibly get it on other more serious things? But he believes that he can get bipartisanship. He also believes that the filibuster is a tool for the minority, and someday we will be in the minority as well. I don't see Senator Manchin, and maybe you have a better sense of this than I do, but I don't see Senator Manchin changing his tune on this, nor Senator Capito for that matter. I think they believe the filibuster has its place, and they intend to keep it in place. And if Manchin can't be brought around, unless some Republican can be brought around to vote for a filibuster change, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
Well, I hear that every day, Howard, and I'll say, we've seen Senator Manchin stand up for West Virginians on past votes already. He's already actually voted on procedural votes to try to open debate, yes, which of course Capito has voted down. And he's also, he's voted for some other huge things like the American Rescue Plan, which Capito voted against, as well as our entire congressional delegation. And so these were huge issues that are benefiting West Virginians every single day. Extending the child tax credit is huge right now. Back to school, as we're trying to keep kids and education employees safe, is huge right now. what I think is going to happen, what has not happened yet, Howard, is the Senate actually saying, okay, we're going to get this bill to the floor, and we're going to make them talk. We're going to make them talk about this. That's the typical West Virginian's idea of the filibuster is Mr. Smith goes to Washington and holds the floor. And you know what? Let's see that. Let's go there first. And Senator Manchin has expressed support for that for months, and he has not wavered on that. We think that that's the first step of many. But also, I think the simple fact is that Senator Manchin he's in a tough spot, right? He is in this spotlight. He is trying to do bipartisan things. I don't have a problem at all with trying to work in bipartisan manners. It's when the other side is just staunchly in the opposition and have no desire to be bipartisan. I think that's where Senator Manchin is a realist. I think that he is going to see that you can only try to bring the horse to water so long, right? And if not, you got to get another horse. And so he's got options.
I had thought that when the senator saw the Republicans vote against the independent commission to investigate January 6th, that might have been the point where he said, okay, if I can't even get them to agree to look at this horrible act against them ourselves, the Senate and the House, then clearly it's going to be tough to get anything else done. I would have thought that might have been a turnaround moment for Senator Manchin, but it didn't seem to have been. It still didn't seem to have turned him away from believing he can. And I suppose, Ryan, getting the bipartisan infrastructure bill moving is, in a sense, a vindication of the senator's belief that there can be bipartisanship.
Well, I think we need to talk about two things with that. One is, for one, no vote happens in a vacuum in D.C. So, while a lot of us on the outside, we get caught up in Twitter and Facebook and watching the 12-hour news cycle now, and so we see everything in these very siloed issues. The reality is in D.C. that these things are all having an effect on things, and I think that vote, that January 6th commission vote, I think it did have an effect on Joe Manchin. I think that it showed him how far apart his colleagues have gotten, and two, I'll say to the bipartisan infrastructure vote. I think that, for one, that was a victory for the Biden administration. Joe Biden had been pushing for a bipartisan bill, and it was one that he actively engaged in and supported. And I think that one of the things that we would like to see with voting rights and the For the People effort is to see President Biden get engaged with the Senate and the Congress, as he did with the infrastructure bill. And I think the final point I want to make about that infrastructure bill is, we saw Joe. Joe was sometimes in the forefront of that. Sometimes he would step back. I think that he understands how to read rooms. He understands that sometimes his efforts can be best when he's not in the spotlight. And that bipartisan bill came out, and our own Senator Capito was the Republican floor manager of the bill, and yet that bill did not go far enough. I think Senator Manchin agrees with that and has already voted once on the budget resolution, the $3.5 trillion budget resolution that has now gone to the House. They've already done some procedural votes, but now we're going to come back from this recess that the Senate's on, and we're going to have a ton of committee hearings on various aspects of that $3.5 trillion budget. And we're looking very forward to, Senator Manchin having his energy committee votes and discussions on that. But the budget as a whole, we want to see go big. But the reason I say, Senator Capito was the Republican manager and total geek mood here. The Democrat manager of the bipartisan bill on the floor was Senator Carper, both native West Virginians. Carper, of course, is from Delaware now, but I like the fact that there were two West Virginians running that bipartisan bill through the floor. But the moment that Shelley Capito voted for that infrastructure, the bipartisan infrastructure bill, she immediately released attack comments and statements and ads tearing down the $3.5 trillion budget deal that is going to have a huge impact on our families. And here's how we tie it all together. These tremendous bills that are absolutely changing lives of West Virginians, that so far Joe Manchin's the only one that has voted for, with the American Rescue Plan and with moving to try to get the budget resolution moving. The only reason that the American Rescue Plan passed, and the only reason right now it looks like the budget resolution will pass, is because they don't have the filibuster rule. Those two bills get to go through, go through the reconciliation process, which is simply just a way of saying they are singled out opportunities because they deal with the budget that the majority rules. And our argument is, if it's big enough, if it's an important enough vote that we pass trillions of dollars on a majority vote, that's how our government should operate. That's how everybody else understands, rules in life and games, and that's why we go, the football analogy. It's like, of course it would be ridiculous to say that any high school football team must score 60 points or they don't win the game. Well, if they can score 20 points and the other team scores 18, they win the game. So right now, we're pushing that, Joe Manchin understands football. Joe Manchin understands West Virginia. And Joe Manchin also understands that he can be a leader. He can take risks that are going to pay off for, generations of West Virginia. And that's where we're at right now. We are at a generational moment, that I've never experienced. I'm only 43 years old. And this is a moment that my generation and generations behind me are going to understand have changed lives for West Virginians.
But Ryan, what about the argument? I mean, look, we right now just have a 50-50 Senate, 51 votes because of Kamala Harris. What about the argument that it's quite likely, or at least very possible, that we'll be the minority in a couple of years? And doesn't the filibuster then give us more strength as well? And I say us, I mean Democrats. I mean, it does to some extent protect the right of the minority to have a little bit of say. 50-50 vote with one extra from the Senate president, I mean, that's a very tenuous lead that we have right now. And is it a majority? Yes, just like in football, one point is a win, but it isn't really an overwhelming majority. So what about protecting the filibuster for the days that we may need it?
Yeah, I'm going to push back real strong on this, Howard. The problem with that message and that thought is that you are assuming that the Republican leadership is going to act in the same manner as Democrat leadership, which is in fairness and trying to give people the opportunity to talk and debate. The reality is that the second that the Republicans take over the U.S. Senate, they will destroy the filibuster because they are going to pass whatever they want. And that, we've seen that. We've already seen the writing is on the wall.
That's a good argument, actually, yes.
We watched Mitch McConnell do what he wanted to when he was the leader of the U.S. Senate, with all kinds of votes, with Supreme Court votes. We saw, the argument that, it's going to protect us when we lose is such a losing argument, because you're going to lose if you don't do the right thing. And two, even if you do the right things and we lose, those right things like child care for every kid in this country, for elder care, for expanding jobs, access to jobs so that people can work and make decent wages, to expand the child tax credit so that it is permanent, so that people are lifted out of poverty, which is, I mean, the American Rescue Plan and Joe Manchin's vote lifted so many West Virginia families out of poverty, or at least help them out of their situation. And the simple fact is this: if people are making the argument that, well, if we blow the filibuster up today, they're going to run it all over us next time. You know, that's absolutely true, and it's going to happen regardless. We have to do the hard votes right now, and they're not hard. They are not hard to make these votes. Joe Manchin knows where he's at in the polling. His approval rating is on the rise because he's been a leader so far, and he's taken hard votes like the January 6th vote, right? A hard vote, I say, in West Virginia political terms. The reality is that these things are not dinging him, and he knows it. And Capito is clinging to this red meat right-wing base that even she's not really comfortable with, but yet she's doing it because she's stuck in the D.C. cycle. But the reality is if we don't start passing these generational pieces of legislation that are going to impact the ways that families are able to earn a living and provide for their children and their elders, the way that we can have dignified jobs, that we can rebuild our country with American jobs, that, you know, we need our new Civilian Conservation Corps, right? Look at what happened with West Virginia when we had the CCC. Our state park system and our national parks here are you know, a lineage of that success. We can have that again, but we could have it also in helping folks and communities change into cleaner energy, which is on the way. And, you know, Senator Manchin certainly knows that he's been very supportive of it. But the simple fact is, and I'll get off myself, but that to claim that the filibuster is somehow going to protect the minority position in a future Senate is absolutely ludicrous, because we know, because they've shown us time and again, that the rules will not apply to them, and they will absolutely blow the filibuster up when they have the opportunity. And they won't.
I'm gonna have to leave it there, Ryan. That's actually a pretty strong point. I do think you're right that if we believe that the Republicans won't use the power to eliminate the filibuster when they're in charge, I think we maybe are deluding ourselves. So that's a really good point. But I have to leave it right there. I appreciate your time this morning, as always. Good talking to you. We'll do it again sometime soon.
Thanks, Howard.
Appreciate it. Ryan Frankenberry is with West Virginia Working Families, among those working to get voting rights legislation passed. The John L. Lewis Voting Rights Act was passed in the House. No Republicans voted for it last week. It goes to the Senate, unlikely, I don't think, to pass there either, and then is the answer to eliminate the filibuster. I hear the arguments that, Ryan makes a strong point there, because to me, don't get rid of the filibuster, because the reality is that someday, maybe as soon as in a couple of years, Democrats are going to be in the minority, and they're going to need the power of the filibuster. But Ryan makes a good point. If Republicans get back in control, will they simply eliminate it so the minority doesn't have that power? That's a good point. All right, 8:36, 24 before the hour. We're at about 70 degrees and foggy. The Grinch could be coming for Christmas this year. Grocery items may be going up in price in certain types of products. And oh my God, Wendy's is changing their French fries? We'll have a little non-political talk coming up next on the Watchdog Morning Show. But first, we'll check some Ohio Valley headlines from the Big 7.
The WTRF Channel 7 News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
Now it's time for you.
If I've got no guests here, so if you want to save some, we can do a second break here.
that they don't want to. Have been reported within the last week, and health officials are predicting an even bigger increase in the coming weeks. They say the rate of infection will be similar to the peak of the pandemic. And the virus is already affecting some students across the river. After only 1 week of school, St. Mary's Central in Martins Ferry is shutting its doors today. Officials say 3 of their teachers have tested positive for COVID-19. School will be closed all week with a plan to resume following Labor Day. We'll keep you updated. If you have what it takes to be a police officer, now is the time. Wheeling PD wants to hire as many as 6 officers right now. As an added incentive, certified officers are eligible for a $20,000 sign-on bonus. You have to be between 18 and 40 years old to apply. That was a look at your headlines. Have a great day.
Flashback with the Terps. Hi, everybody. I'm Tony Caridi. That story coming up on today's Mountaineer Report.
What makes one head of lettuce better than another? What makes a grape greater? At Kroger, we take scrutinizing freshness to a whole new level, where only the best of the best of the best will do. We're seriously serious about what goes on our shelves, so only the freshest makes the grade. That means not every leafy green leaves the field. Not every cauliflower makes the cut. So if we've got it at Kroger, you can bet your bananas that it's not just fresh, it's fresher than fresh. Kroger, fresh for everyone. At Kroger, fresh groceries are our thing, so we do freshness checks on the items in your delivery order at every step of their journey from our farms to our stores. And pick and pack every blue, raz, and strawberry in your free pickup order with the utmost care. Because we believe in treating your food the same way we'd want ours to be treated. It's the golden rule, only for like fresh fruit and stuff. Order now using the mobile app. We're fresh every day, so shop anyway. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Free pickup on orders of $35 or more. Restrictions may apply.
So here we go, folks. Game week has formally arrived for the Mountaineer football team. And on Saturday, West Virginia opens up season number 3 for Neil Brown and the 2021 season with a game against the University of Maryland Terrapins. Back on Friday's report, I told you that WVU has only opened in a true road game 7 times in the last 50 years. But one of those games was against the Maryland Terrapins. It was 1973. And talk about a season starting late. WVU did not play its very first game of the year until they went to Byrd Stadium, and that was the 15th of September, 1973. And what a game it was. Now, for those of you that have been around a while, you certainly do remember it. West Virginia, Maryland. A lot of good players on that field, but 2 field goals were the total scoring in the opening half of play. A 35 and a 33-yard field goal from the Mountaineers. Frank Nestor, West Virginia led 6-zip at halftime. Then, third quarter, Steve Mickemeyer from the Mickemeyer kicking family kicked field goals of 43 and 48 yards. It was a 6-6 tie going into the fourth quarter of play. Then Maryland takes the lead 13-6 in the late going on a 1-yard touchdown rush fourth quarter. Then a Dwayne Woods 75-yard touchdown. And then, with 8 seconds to go in the game, Danny Buggs, a 65-yard punt return, much to the delight of the Mountaineer fans on hand. West Virginia won the game 20-13. We'll find out what happens this Saturday. That is today's Mountaineer Report, brought to us by Kroger, the official grocer of WVU Athletics. I'm Tony Caridi on the Mountaineer Sports Network from Learfield.
This is Bill DeFabio, your host of the Variety Show with Bill DeFabio. Heard on the Watchdog Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Join me from noon till 2 to talk sports, nostalgia, and hear from some of the legends of the game. You won't believe who I have on next. The Bill DeFabio Variety Show, heard on the Watchdog Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Tune in and get with the program. I'm Bill DeFabio. Join me for the Variety Show on the Watchdog.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Introducing our new redesigned 7 News app. Our new app features a sleek, modern design and easy-to-navigate home screen with quick access to local news content and a localized weather forecast. Subscribing to notifications is easier, and with one tap, you have access to recent push notifications. There are more ways to watch and find video. To get the new WTRF 7 News app, just update the latest version or download the WTRF 7 News app in your Apple or Google Play Store by searching WTRF.
Are you or your loved ones facing a serious legal battle? The law office of Paul Harris wants you to know you aren't alone. Do you need someone that's not afraid to go to trial and fight for your rights? Attorney Paul Harris and his team are willing to go where most firms are not. The courtroom. With a successful track record in civil litigation, criminal defense, including tax issues and healthcare fraud, Harris Law Office will fight for their clients by offering the most aggressive representation in and out of court. Call Paul Harris at Harris Law Office for a free consultation. 304-232-5300.
Hey, I'm going to the kitchen. Can I grab you a Coors Light?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Huh. I never knew there was a zip line in my fridge. Hey! Hey, buddy! Yeah. You got 2 Coors Lights up there?
You got it! Always brewed down to 34 degrees. With a taste as cold as the Rockies, only Coors Light gives you refreshment every time.
Here you go. 2 Coors Lights.
Awesome, man. Wow, these are really cold.
That's the only way I deliver it.
Sure. I mean, you being a mountain climber and all,
Yep.
you probably need a pretty warm coat in there, huh?
Yep.
Hey, Ben!
Yeah!
Ask him if he has any nachos.
You got any nachos in there?
No.
Just icy cold Coors Light?
Yep.
That makes sense. It is the Rockies.
Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. With great beer comes great responsibility.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the Watchdog trusts.
Now, during the Jim Robinson Ford Lincoln Toyota Pre-Owned Super Sale, select from over 80 vehicles in stock starting under $5,000. Most are local trades, many with one owner. Hurry to Jim Robinson at the Highlands, home of lifetime powertrain protection. Now, during the Jim Robinson Ford Lincoln Toyota Pre-Owned Super Sale, select from over 80 vehicles in stock starting under $5,000. Most are local trades, many with one owner. Hurry to Jim Robinson at the Highlands, home of lifetime powertrain protection.
Quaker Steak and Lube at the Highlands is the perfect place to relax after a long day. Happy hour from 3 to 6 Monday through Friday. Get $2 off appetizers, $3 off domestic drafts, and house wine specials. Quaker Steak and Lube, voted Best Wings USA. Quaker Steak and Lube at the Highlands with another steal of a deal. Get a steak burger and fries all day Monday for only $8.99. It's also Military Mondays. The Lube will take 25% off for all veterans, active duty military, and first responders. Quaker Steak and Lube, voted Best Wings USA.
Catch Biff Leonard on the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe. Weekday morning, 7 to 10 a.m. Only on the Watchdog. Live and local talk radio. Just the way you like it.
You can vote in our Watchdog poll and read commentary in our blogs on watchdognetwork.com. The Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
Opinion poll today on watchdognetwork.com still has to do with masks. Do you believe that there should be a mask mandate in schools? Vote yes or no. Go to the website watchdognetwork.com and vote in our poll. Should masks be required for students going back to school? Yes or no. Actually, right now we're 50-50, split even. In the beginning of the poll, we had more folks saying yes. Now it's about 50-50. So you can vote at watchdognetwork.com in our opinion poll. 71 degrees right now to Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. A little bit warmer, 73 here at my home studios in the Elm Grove section of Wheeling. 72 at the Robinson Auto Group studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Still officially fog out there. The fog is lightening up a little bit. It's just basically a little bit of fog floating around, but partly cloudy today. And it's going to be that way throughout the day. We're looking for rain showers, maybe some storms during the day today. Ida's blowback will come in tomorrow and Wednesday. We'll see some more rain over the next couple of days. 81 the high today, drop down to about 77 tomorrow, 73 on Wednesday. For the first day of meteorological fall, it will be September the 1st. Biff, of fast food French fries, which ones do you like the best?
McDonald's.
McDonald's are really good. I think McDonald's does a great job. My favorites, probably by a smidgen, are Wendy's. I like Wendy's fries. I will say this, though. In both cases, the issue is if they're hot and fresh, right?
Doesn't matter to me. I'm still eating them.
Hot, fresh, cold, old, I don't care. I love the fries. I like them when they're hot, when they're fresh, and I think that's when they're particularly good. And if you get to the fast food place, for me, wrong time of day where they've really been already cooked and waiting, and they're kind of cool when you get them. You do it through the drive-through. I haven't been inside a fast food place in, well over a year, of course. So I if they're getting a little bit less crispy, a little bit cold, I don't care for them. But I would probably give a slight edge. I'm with you, though. McDonald's, good fries. I would give a slight edge to Wendy's in my personal mind. I had a story last week I was going to do, and I didn't get around to it. It's on my desk somewhere, but I'm not going to look it up. Some folks went out and did a comparison study of fast food French fries. Wendy's was the number one choice of fast food French fries. I bring that all up because Wendy's is changing their fries. And I get their explanation here, but boy, when something is popular, you don't want to mess too much with it, Biff. You don't want to.
If it's not broke, why fix it?
That's right. Well, Wendy's has announced it's going to give its French fries a big makeover. They say they've spent the last 4 years trying to figure out how to deal with fries that do get cold and do get soggy. And because in the past year, more and more and more people are now ordering through the drive-through or even carry out too, but even delivery services anymore. So folks aren't getting the fries right there and eating them right there. Although I got to say, whether it's McDonald's or Wendy's or wherever, Biff, if I go through the drive-through and get fries and other food to take home for lunch, the fries are usually gone by the time I get home.
Yeah, it depends on depends on how hungry I am. There have been times where, yes, by the time I've gotten back home, it's either half a box of fries or they're almost completely gone, and then it's just the sandwich. And there have been times on occasion where the fries have actually made it home. So for me, it just depends on how hungry I am.
I say to myself, I'm just going to grab a fry, just to make sure they're okay. I'm going to grab a fry, have one on the way out of the parking lot. And I just have one more, and then the whole way home another one. It's just. But a lot of people are doing almost exclusively drive-through at these places anymore because of the pandemic, and so people are not eating their fries right there. They're eating them after they get home or in the car. So that's what Wendy's is trying to do. They say they've come up with a way to make one side of the fry thicker, which means it'll hold the heat better, and the other side of the fry will be thinner, which will make it crispier. I don't know, Biffy. I'm still with you. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Leave it alone.
If people are satisfied, I get that it's a little bit different than eating right there in the restaurant, but we were at Wendy's last week one day, drove through, grabbed myself a Dave's single or something, and some fries, and they get a little cold, dry, but they were still all gone by the time I got home. It's not like I said, ew, I can't eat these things. I still ate them, so I don't know. But Wendy's, and they say this will be nationwide, all of their stores across the country should have their new fries by mid-September. Yeah, by mid-September, Wendy's will have new fries. And then we'll all bitch on Facebook about how the fries are no good.
Yeah, and then we'll wonder how long until they go back to what they were doing originally.
Right, exactly. And at some point they'll say, we shouldn't have done that, let's go back to the old fries. Or they'll do like Coke did all those many years ago. You have to then decide, do you want the new fries or the old fries? Yes, I'd like a Dave single, a bowl of chili, and an order of French fries. Small, medium, or large? Give me the medium fries. Old fries or new fries? Old fries don't sound real good, but I think I still want the old ones. I don't know, just something to think about. 6 before the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Hey, today is the final day for bidding on an auction that Jim Frio and Shane Stack have going on online right now. Auctionzip.com is where you go to get the info. It is a 1950 DeSoto Custom that's going to be going on the auction block. A bunch of mid-century furniture, some collectibles. This is the one where I've been talking to you last week about. They've got some old Bill Mugie political items, former mayor of the city of Wheeling, longtime councilman, nice guy. He had a printing office in Center Wheeling, a printing shop in Center Wheeling. But he was a good guy. I really enjoyed Bill. And a bunch of his political items will be on the auction block as well. So as I said, 1950 DeSoto Custom is kind of the key thing. Then a lot of mid-century furniture, a few little odds and ends as well. But today is the last day for bidding. So go to auctionzip.com and you can see the information, get the information, check out the upcoming auctions and so on. And it's an online auction only. So if you want to bid, you sign up right there and make your place your bids. The pickup will be this Thursday up in Warwood. So be aware of that. Another auction coming up from Jim Frio Auction and Appraisal Service. I should say the Frio Stack Auction and Appraisal Service, because Shane Stack, of course, now part of that gang as well. 5 before the hour. Do I need a break, Biffy?
No, we are good.
Bad news for kids, or some kids at least, for Christmas time. The makers of some of the most popular toys in the country say that global shipping crisis, labor shortages, and COVID-caused price increases are going to mean many of the big toys that people want this year, number one, are going to cost more. Number two, may not be available at all. They say they're going to have a hard time keeping stores stocked throughout the holiday shopping season. At least 2 leading toy company CEOs say they're warning parents, get your holiday shopping done early. There's going to be a major shortage of toy products this year. The demand is going to be there. The product may not be there. What happens when product outstrips demand? Well, the price goes up, and at Christmas time, people get unhappy. So, some of the toys that are going to be in short demand, they say Little Tykes, Rainbow Dolls, Bratz Dolls, LOL Surprise Dolls, which I never heard of until one of my one of the granddaughters talked about them last year. LOL Surprise. I was like, what the hell is that? Apparently it's one of the real hot toy brands now, and that's going to be in short demand as well. A lot of this has to do with shipping costs. And a lot of the toys, as we know, come from overseas, and as a result, a lot of the overseas shipping is delayed and expenses going up. Just an example. One shipping container, they say, that cost $3,200 last year, $22,000 this year. That's a gigantic increase. That's just for one shipping container, and you think how many of these a major company has to have. Fisher-Price toys are also going to be in short demand this year, if all goes as well. Hasbro, Mattel, 2 of the biggest toy makers in the world, along with Lego. Lego's a problem because Teddy loves Legos. Their companies are working hard to try to get enough shipping containers to keep up with demand, but it may not be the case. So listen, parents, if your kids have some things they particularly want for the holidays, for Christmas, get them now because they could be in short demand later. And yes, they're going to cost more. COVID is raising a lot of prices just because of shipping costs. And some of these toy companies, Biff, say, the first hurdle is getting the toys from overseas to America. Okay, getting them from shipped shipped across the ocean. Then we all have heard before about the trucking shortage problem. They're having a hard time getting them from the docks shipped to the various stores. So I don't want to be the Grinch, but I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I probably want to be the realist. Let you know, parents, there is likely to be a shortage of some key toys this year. Get your toy shopping done early, or you're going to have disappointed kids. And oh boy, that's bad when you have disappointed kids. All right, it's 9 o'clock here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Is charity racist? Huh? We'll talk with an author about that coming up next hour. Right now, ABC covers the world.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
I'm Sherry Preston. After slamming into Southeast...
All right, Biff, we've got Edgar Villanueva, supposed to call it 10 after.